Hey everyone, welcome back to my podcast, Flowering into 5D. Today I have a real life friend of mine. Her name is Carole-Anne, and let me tell you a little bit about her before we get started. So, she is actually a registered holistic nutritionist, a trauma informed and metabolic balance coach. Prior to this, she actually spent 5 years in the Fairmont kitchen cooking up a storm until it was time to build her own business to make this world a better place. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you doing today?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. And yes, I'm awesome and very excited to be here. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, it's my absolute pleasure. So, I just want to get right to it. Like I want to know more about what you're up to. Like when did you decide to take the leap from working in the Fairmont kitchen to moving towards like holistic nutrition and, becoming a metabolic balance coach? Give me the tea, tell me everything.
So it's quite a lengthy story, but I'll try to condense it as much as I can. But so yeah, I was just I wasn't just like everyone else. You don't know what you want to do when you grow up, like when you go to school and stuff like that. But I figured with cooking, at least I'll learn how to cook. So I was just like, hey, it's win-win regardless. But then I fell in love with cooking, and I actually got really lucky and got a job with Fairmont Hotels. But then it wasn't until I was working at the Fairmont in Royal York in Toronto where I was doing the food and making it look nice and whatever. But then I looked up at the dining room and I just looked around and I said, for some reason, I just got like a thought saying, you're cooking for people who don't want to cook at home and or they want to have a celebration. Like, because I was just taking it all in and I was like, yeah, I want more. Like as much as that was fulfilling at the time, there was part of me that just wanted more. I just wanted to actually help people. I was like, well, I'm helping people celebrate. I'm helping people. I'm just like feeding them type thing. But I was just like, it's not quite. So, and then with me, I struggled with anxiety my entire life. I got myself into some situations that didn't help it, but it is what it is. But um, and so I remember going back to school at that point for food and nutrition at George Brown, but then that was more catered to long-term care facilities and hospitals, which I was like, okay, yeah, that's great. I get to help the elderly because I love the elderly, but I realized managing a kitchen is not really my real house.
Mm.
I, it, anyways, there's a lot of like, why can't you just do your work type thing? But that's just part of being a manager type thing. So
Mm.
I actually got really sick from that. That was my turning point. I got really depressed, really like anxious to back to work. And that's when I realized because and I also had a an interest of going back to school for being a dietitian. But then I had a friend of mine on Facebook saying that she's a teacher for holistic nutrition. And then I was like, okay, well, that how is that different being from being a dietitian?
Mm.
And that's why I was like really curious because I'm like I'm really interested in doing something with food because that's all I know with all my cooking experience. And so she told me that like the biggest difference is that being a holistic nutritionist, like you do have the certifications and you do have the schooling and stuff like that, but when you're doing your own business, you're not as regulated with
Mm.
the government.
Mhm.
And um that's what really like interested me. I was like, okay, well, I don't like as much as I'm gonna do my like I have all the science backing me up, I don't want people to like I don't want to make people sick type thing.
Mm.
So that's when my journey began. I went to holistic nutrition school I that's when I first got my validation of I'm not going crazy. I need to take my own responsibility. And if this is the life I want, then this is what I have to do. And it really created that start of, oh, wow, this is how I can actually help other people because you go anywhere and it's anxiety driven. Like there's so many aspects that like we're trying so hard, but the world is just lovely. No, it's um the world kind of revolves around convenience.
Hmm.
And okay, yeah, it's great, but at what cost? And so that's what I realized what was going on. And I really want to go back, not necessarily go back to our old ways, but our old ways that made sense.
Hmm.
Kind of like why fix it when it's not broken, like kind of like that kind of mentality.
Absolutely.
And so I really wanted to work towards that. And like, how can I help the world? And with my program, I feel like I can.
Hmm.
Um, I did the holistic nutrition, so I know how to work with your body. But then I was like, hey, well, I feel like there's like because in the holistic nutrition there is a like kind of like it's mind, body, spirit type of mentality as well.
Hmm.
So there was some mind and spirit aspect to it.
Hmm.
But I was like, I feel like I need more. Like
Mm.
I need more education on that. Facebook ads, they do work because that's
Hmm.
exactly how I found Caroline Strawson, who did the narcissistic abuse trauma informed coaching certification. It's a
Mm.
really lengthy one, but um, that's where I learned about our core wounds, our like not feeling good enough, not feeling loved,
Mm.
not feeling worthy, or important. I always
Mm.
miss one, but um, and so that was really the kind of like the whole package of, oh my God, like the, because anxiety is an emotion.
Yes.
That's what I came across. It's like to me, anxiety is not an illness; it's an emotion, and we can
Yes.
control that.
Hmm.
So let me show you how we can control that.
I love it.
Um, and then with the metabolic balance, I realized that with my holistic nutrition, I had to come up with a protocol for it.
Hmm.
I did not have one. And like I was working on it though. I actually was working on doing a protocol and stuff like that. But then when I went to this is where it gets really, really fun when it comes to like the spirits helping you through this journey. So when I went to my holistic nutrition conference, metabolic balance is always there, giving away a free or half price certification.
Mm.
I signed up and I actually won the full price one. No,
Yay!
yeah, knowing that it was going to help me with my program and knowing that I was ready, knowing that I was like, hey, yeah, this and like I'm on it right now. Like I'm
Hmm.
on actually like on my own plan. I'm only in 2 weeks in. The
Hmm.
difference, like if I didn't go through like all my other education and like my own like inner work and stuff like that, this alone I can feel that is a good starting point. It's a good um it's a good like reset. And then from there we kind of like tweak things and we make sure that it's for you
Hmm.
specifically, not a cookie cutter because we're not all the same. We
So
really are
true.
not all the same. And so, yeah, there's a lot of education that came into it.
Hmm.
but all of it was worth it. And I'm still looking for more education. Like I follow Colette Baron Reed, who
Hmm.
does the Oracle cards, and she actually offers a Oracle school.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, oh, maybe I want to do that too, since I don't really have anything like education wise with spirituality. So I was like, oh, maybe I should do that too. But
Yeah.
that's after because I have a lot to work with already. So that's why I'm on here and want to share it with the world.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you've, tied it more to the body, mind, and spirit perspective, but also with the science-based approach with the metabolic balance, because, although I feel like the world's frequency is raising and a lot of people are quote waking up and we're becoming more spiritual at a rate that is unlike any other time in history, there are still those skeptics that are like, where's the science, or whatever, like poopy attitude that some people have. So I'm glad that you have like this holistic approach that really also includes the scientific part as well. Because, yeah, like I said, I think that some people still need that. And I'm not saying that like and science is necessary and science is valid, but it's not like everything, in my opinion. And I think you would agree on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There, to tie in with what you said is that just to make it a little bit more specific is that I
Yeah.
find people need proof.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like they're okay, yeah, they're skeptical, but they just need the proof that it's going to work for them. And it's like,
Hmm.
well, if you just follow it, it will work. Because I'm living proof. There's thousands of testimonials out there, not from me, but from other coaches
Yeah.
that shows that okay, yeah, you might be going under, like you might get uncomfortable. And that's the other thing too, is that they want it.
Hmm.
They
Yes.
have they need
100.
that
Yeah.
desire. They need that desire to change, that desire to want to have a better life. So if they don't, hey, that's up to them.
Well, that's it. That's exactly right. At the end of the day, it's we all have free will, right? So I mean, even if, you say like, "Oh yeah, I think I want that." Well, either you do or you don't, and it's your choice whether you do it or not. It's like people have addictions,
Hmm.
and at the end of the day, you can choose to be addicted to something or you can choose to finally let it go. And I mean, obviously, it's a little bit more complicated than that in some aspects in some people's lives, but really at the end of the day, it's a choice.
Hmm.
And
It
I
really
think,
is.
I mean, maybe some people are like, "Hey, how dare you?" I'm not trying to be controversial, but at the end of the day, it's like literally a choice. Like I'm trying to quit drinking coffee. It's my last addiction, and I'm like, today's
Oh,
today's the day I'm not having coffee. And then 1 p.m.
good.
rolls around. I'm like, that's mean hand grinding the coffee because we only have a hand grinder. I'm like, tomorrow's the day. But like I I'm honest with myself. I know that's what I want. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna sit here and beat myself and be like, ah, you failed again. Like that's not helpful either. Just
No.
recognizing, saying like, hey, you know what? Like I didn't make it today, but tomorrow I will. And being giving
Yeah.
myself
It's
grace and yeah, it's just important to love yourself really and love yourself enough to make a change and to put yourself into uncomfortable positions in the sense of that is where you grow. Not I'm not talking about like dangerous situations where you're like, oh my
I
God.
was gonna say that too. I was like, as long as it's a healthy position.
Yes. Yes. A healthy discomfort in like for
Yeah.
the purpose of growth. Yeah.
Yes. For the purpose of growth, facing your fears as well, making sure that, like, if you are scared, well, do it scared.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm doing that right now with this podcast, but because this is honestly like the first time that I'm really putting myself out there. So it's going through the motions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, like you've got something extremely valuable for a lot of people. So, I mean, I'm not to be like corny, but I'm proud of you for coming on here and talking about it because, yeah, like this needs to be out there for the masses. People need to know about this kind of stuff, that there's alternatives to going to some, sorry, but I've been to a government paid dietitian. It was junk. For not everyone is junk, but the one I went to is junky. And there's also the fact that a lot of hospitals, from what I've seen, not just in Canada, but in many countries, what they're serving to people is not nutritious. It's not
No.
helpful. So how is that supposed to heal people? If you're in a hospital and you're supposed to be getting healthy, nutritious food, like what's the story there with that meal that they're serving?
That was actually one of the reasons why I left the long-term care industry, because we are like as a food service manager, we are so in a way underfunded,
Mm,
or like we're but like I wouldn't really use that. I would say that we're really strict when it comes to our food costs, our food, I want to say food allowance if I can, um, because it is government regulated.
mm,
So everything needs to be used accordingly, and it's up to the manager to figure that out. Like there is a formula that determines like what your like how much your like even with my hours actually, in order for me to be part-time, I had to work in the kitchen.
mm,
Sorry, in order for me to work full time, I had to have a shift to work in the kitchen because there was no office hour times allocated to me. So it really opened up my eyes of just this is how we're treating the elderly. Like this is very sad, and it's not like we don't have like they have the blood, like for me, like to have metabolic balance in the hospitals would make sense to me
mm,
because they have the lab work, they have the lab, like you can get your blood done right there and then you just get the right nutrition foods for that, like for that client.
right.
Now I understand that it would be like this is a big like like a lot of things would have to change in order for that to actually happen. But like it's a very big what's it called? A very big I guess turnaround
Mm.
for that to happen. But it would make sense. Why are you like why are you feeding those who are sick foods that are not really helpful? So yeah.
What? Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And I think this is just another example of how um I mean, systems are set up in such a way these days that who are they actually serving? And I'm not trying to go like the conspiracy theory route, but really though, like if the people that need the help are not getting the help that they need in so that the system can continue, why is the system still there? Like I mean, I really feel like this is a time where like things are starting to show the cracks a lot, like systems and governments and et cetera are really starting to show the cracks. And I really think that the next 10 years are going to be massive, massive change. And I, it's a little bit scary. Like, ooh, we don't know what's coming. But if we just think about that it's coming for the good of everyone and not the good of some, I think that, something like metabolic balance would be great to introduce to the masses or the elderly or just the masses in general. Like if you already have that blood work information, which most people, if they go to a Canadian doctor, that's usually something you get during a physical. So it's already there,
Mhm.
and it's just so wild to me. Like to be honest with you, obviously, I live in Cambodia, so it's not like I'm always going to Canadian doctors, but when I would go, it would just really like disturb me that nobody would ever ask about like, well, what's your diet like? Or like, like, do you take vitamins? Like, it was like none of that. And it's just like, how is it so not paid attention to? Like that old saying, like, you are what you eat, but we don't talk about it. Like,
So the thing that I've learned with doctors is that they are more for um, symptom management,
of course. Mhm.
not necessarily root cause. That's where the holistic nutritionist comes in because
Mhm.
we go through the root cause and say, okay, well, what's your lifestyle? What's this? What's that? Um, I don't know if this is true. I've just heard it from my teachers from the holistic nutrition school,
Mhm.
but they told me that doctors actually only spend like for of all of the courses that they have, I think they only spend 10 hours on nutrition. Something like that, something crazy like that. I just remember being like, but like just so like my mind went to mush because I was
Yeah.
like, but they're doctors. Like they but then you think about it, okay, well, if you are going to the doctor, it's basically because like you're just not feeling well and you're trying to figure it out. But then the way that I like to describe it is that the doctor is there for a band-aid, not
Yes.
necessarily for like they're there to help you. Like it's I'm not against doctors at all. Like they do have a place in the world and um they do they do awesome work and they have a lot of knowledge and like they nothing against them. I really want to put it out there that I have nothing against them. But because they run such a fast-paced clinic, a fast-paced I don't know about life, but like just like the fact that you go in, 5 minutes later you're out.
Yeah.
Even though you have to wait for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But they don't have time to go through those questions, to go through what's going on, to no, I won't say that part because I'm sure they do care. I was gonna say they just don't have the time.
Yeah.
That's what I've come to down to is that they don't have the time to go through all of that. So that's why with me as a holistic nutritionist, I will be working with doctors and say, hey, let me give you a load off. If someone really wants to figure out their anxiety, bring them to me and
Mhm.
then I'll help them out. And then like if there is some antidepressants or whatever medication that you feel is helpful, sure. But or like if someone wants to get off of their medications because that's what I wanted to do,
Mhm.
but I felt like I had no support while
Yeah.
doing it either. I was like I was thrown into the wolves. Like I
Yeah.
was just trying to fend for myself and I see my program and I even like even my inner like teenager comes out and is so proud of myself because I was like if I had this, I would be living a different life altogether. The things that I covered, the things that I show you and how to support you in all
Mhm.
aspects, it I wish I had this tool in my back pocket. Just put it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah. So, well, let's touch on that. So tell me, like, what exactly is your program? And I also just want to know what's your intention for this program? I feel like you've touched on a little bit of both of these questions, but let's just put it together.
Yeah, I kind of stopped myself whenever I felt myself going into that tangent. I'm like, no, wait, it'll come. So Um, so yeah, my program is called Anxiety Under Control. Um, what it is a 8 week program. So every week you would get the like the topic of the week for that. And so the 8 weeks. So this is what I wrote on my like just like what to expect working with me.
Mhm.
So you get to learn the difference between an emotional response and a biological consequence. How to connect various mental and physical symptoms to anxiety. Because some people they feel like they're feeling anxiety, but then they're like, is it anxiety? Is it like? So I
Mm.
help them connect what it actually is. I show you the role of food and lifestyle to support the body, the importance of the body working in harmony with the mind, how to prioritize your mental health in your everyday life. And then there's a cooking element as well. So I give you like the basics of how to cook. Well, not necessarily how to cook because I feel like not necessarily like being like a cook, a professional cook on a cooking show type thing,
Mm.
but just like some maybe some I guess like the way that I made it was as like some tips that you might not either forgotten or you just haven't thought of. So it's just like a little portion of cooking just because with the metabolic balance, you do need to be a little bit creative with your
Mm.
meals.
Mhm.
And so um, that's why I I incorporated that. My intention is to empower women to live their lives without the weight of anxiety bringing them down. Um, with the work that I've done, I feel like I can take over the world. Okay, yeah, it's scary, but I still feel like I can go out and just be like, you know what? Let's do this.
Yes.
And like and I'm confident enough to get it done. So I was taught that if you learn something, the best way of like engraving it in yourself or the best way to really appreciate it is to give it to others.
Mm.
So that's what I'm doing with this is that I put this all of my knowledge all in one package so you don't have to spend 10 years of your life going through going through the work that I've done. I put it all in this beautiful package for you. And then you do have the option. Like, so my program actually goes in like it's a two-tier type thing. So
Okay.
you can have the anxiety under control just by itself because I do cover a lot of like what foods to eat and stuff like that. But if you want to have the metabolic balance as well, then that's the VIP portion of it. The metabolic balance, it's a program that really tailors to your body. We take your blood work. You go get your blood work done, and then with that blood work, we have a team of doctors, dietitians, and nutritionists who create a personalized plan for you. So it is based on, okay, let's say your white blood cells count is low. Okay,
Mm.
well, the doctors are going to put in your plan foods that are going to bring that up so that you can actually fight infections.
Mm.
Like stuff like that. Like it's so, like the science behind it is so fascinating that it's like, and it, you just have to follow also with the metabolic balance there's just 8 steps, 8 rules that you need to follow, um, which I will get to you. 1 second.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had it, but then it went away.
That's okay. Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, it's honestly. So yeah, so the first step would be to only eat 3 meals per day.
Okay.
You want to give yourself 5 hours in between meals so that your insulin levels can actually go down. Because when you eat food, your insulin levels goes up, your
Okay.
blood sugars,
Mm.
if just to make it a little bit easier for others, but your blood sugars goes up. It turns out you need a minimum of 5 hours before it actually comes back down and actually like, and then you're like back to getting those what's it called, those signals that you're hungry again.
Mm.
So they've determined that a minimum of 5 but a maximum of 7 hours that you would need to space out your meals. And then if you feel hungry in between, it actually is a sign of thirst
Mm.
rather than, because signs of thirst and hunger are quite similar. So if you just drink water, and I'm actually proof of that, because I was like, oh, I'm hungry, I want a snack, but I'm like, no, just drink water, and
Mhm.
I was fine.
Mm.
I was like,
Mhm.
oh wow, I'm not hungry anymore. Cool, like this is awesome. The third step is to you only have a 1 hour window to eat your food.
Mm.
So if it is like a longer like I say you're going to a wedding and it's like a long dinner,
Mhm.
then what you would do is that let's say after your 1 hour, you just wait 15 minutes and only in that 15 minutes you drink water and then you can start again.
Okay.
It's like it's a pretty easy thing to remember.
Mm.
Um, Step 4 is that you want to start each meal with a few bites of protein first, because what that does, it actually triggers your um, glucagon, not production, but to start I can't even say it, metabolizing the,
Metabolizing.
yes, thank you. I just figured I would just let it all out and hopefully it worked out, but that's okay. Um, just so that like yeah, it helps out metabolizing the food, but without spiking your sugar,
Mm.
because you don't you want that to start right away. Um, Also, you only want to eat run protein per meal, so you're eating. Oh,
No,
sorry.
it's okay. You're all good.
Okay. So you're eating 3 different types of protein per day. That is because of the the amino acid availability of the proteins.
Mm.
Well, I'm pretty much, but anyways, so that you actually do eat all your amino acids. You do not want to eat after 9 p.m. You want to drink like they even calculate the amount of water that you require. So as long as you drink that minimum, then
Mhm.
you're good to go. And last but not least, it's true what they say. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. So we emphasize on making sure that you do eat an apple,
Mhm.
but we do encourage to actually eat a old variety of apples, um, because of the nutrition that they carry.
Mm.
The longer that the tree is rooted in, the
Mhm.
longer it, or not the longer, but the higher the nutrient availability is on
Right.
that fruit. So like Granny Smith apples, um, that's the more um, not popular, but the more recognizable apple that
Mm.
you should like, more like the tart ones that you want to move toward, like that you want to eat.
Right. So
So yeah,
cool.
and
Awesome.
I thought it was something else, but there isn't. So yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. And thank you for sharing those. Those are super cool, like great takeaways for anyone, even if they haven't, ever heard of metabolic balance, or, maybe they're not in your area, or maybe, I mean, we'll get to working with you in just a moment, but, great tips for, you can start today. So love
Yes.
that. Love that. Love that. So yeah, speaking of, can you tell the listeners, like, where can people connect with you so that they can, find out more and potentially work with you?
So everyone is in luck right now because I am just starting. I do need some beta testers. So I am open to whoever is available, well, not available, but like whoever is interested in to learn about your like where your anxiety is coming from, and if you do want to jump into the metabolic balance, there's an additional fee for that. But I am looking for beta testers to just to make sure that my program makes sense. But they can reach me on Instagram. My handle is cabs33, CABS 33, and just shoot me your email on as a message, and then I'll be able to contact you with the links of all the like after all the what's it called? I'll get it. Of all the lessons that I'm going to be, it's going to be pre-recorded um, slides that I will be doing, and so they'll be able, like, I'll be able to just send the link as they are open, because I am just starting out, um, but at the same time, this is what I am offering.
Wonderful, perfect, and amazing that you're offering that for the people who are interested, because God knows there's a lot of people with anxiety on this planet. So it's
Yeah,
definitely some people that need that. Not to be like they need that and I don't. I'm not trying to be like that, but I mean
yeah,
oh, there's a lot of things to be anxious about. So thank you for bringing your program into the world and helping people, because yeah, like a lot of people need help with that. Myself in the past. Luckily, I'm not so anxious anymore, but I mean, been there for sure.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, what were you gonna say?
I was just saying like how it's amazing how even though like we didn't have the same paths, we came back together and we're kind of like doing the same thing. So
Yeah,
it's just nice to have a friend like that.
definitely. Yeah, for those listening, Carole-Anne and I met when we were 14 years old. So
Good old high school.
grade nine. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Good. I want to say good times. There were some good times. There were some not so good times, but high school.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, I would love to have you back on the podcast, like again, maybe after some time, just to see like where you're at and just to touch base. And yeah, I would just love to I mean, I'll reconnect with you personally, but also on the podcast as well. I would love to catch up again and just see where you're at and just share more of your awesome knowledge with people. It would be greatly appreciated to have you back on.
Yeah, that'd be so fun. I would love to come back.
Yay.
And
Awesome.
I'll
Well,
say
thank
I was saying
say
obviously be connected to you.
yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining, and thank you to everyone listening, and see you on the next one. Bye.